What's happening, Boiler Nation? It is Tuesday night, January 20th, 2026. A rare episode of the Boiler Breakdown in which a Purdue game is happening in the same night because the Boilermakers don't tip off till 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central Time for people like Aaron. And that's part of this Big Ten West expansion, which – Big Ten's like, we don't care about anything except football, so you'll figure out the rest. But happy to be here. I'm Tanner Lee, host Evan Webb, Aaron Lynch in the house. Fellas, how we doing?
Okay, we're doing okay.
You know what? We should have done this as late night.
Yeah.
I just thought of that. We just missed an opportunity.
Sorry, my life.
Yeah, it's I used to do a podcast kind of late night after. Well, we'd usually go on like at 10:30. Did that for about 2 years. It was kind of rough at times getting done around midnight, but
Could have done the Boiler Breakdown after dark for one night. I didn't think about that.
If we are for sure to win, it would not be fun to stay up late and talk about a loss. But we could have. Maybe we'll have another chance down the road somewhere when these Western teams aren't going anywhere anytime soon. And you never know. NCAA tournament games, you can get a late draw once in a while. So maybe we'll have another chance.
We missed an opportunity. Let's pin that one for a later episode.
That checks out, doesn't it? But yeah, no, I'm right there with you, Webby. I'm doing okay is a good way to put it. I debriefed myself from social media today and logged out of everything that I didn't have to be logged in the world of social media for work purposes. There's a few apps I do have to be on there for work purposes, but it was kind of nice just getting away from social media for a day, and it might extend to a couple days. But it also didn't help though. Like I'm working, and I like to listen to a lot of different sports talk shows, especially right now. Denver sports talk shows because my Broncos are still in the playoffs at least for another week. And two programs I listened to. I had it on YouTube because I like how the audio comes in through YouTube. So it's on my TV even though I'm not watching it. Two different co-hosts had Indiana football stuff on today. Out of Colorado. I just can't. Yeah. I can't escape it.
Can't escape it. Yeah.
Nope.
Can't escape it.
Nope. But I guess
in it, as I would say, just got to sit in it.
Yeah, got to sit in it. And I guess that leads me into last week. It was just you and I on the pod. Aaron couldn't join us last week, and we talked a little bit about Mike Bobinski's roundtable with the media, but we didn't get too deep into the weeds because we wanted Aaron on to get deep into the weeds. So, Aaron, the floor is yours, my friend.
Oh man, where to start after last night? That conversation was very, very telling in regards to money, in regards to
or lack thereof.
No, it's there. We just don't use it. I mean, this straight reminds me of Jerry Reinsdorf. I'm not going to lie to you.
Oh God!
If this doesn't reek of MLB, like this does with this moving NIL from donors to actually corporate dollars, which I thought to myself, like, who are these corporate sponsors? Outside of what we see on game day, both for basketball and for football. And it sounds like they're trying to squeeze every penny out of basketball based on what Babinski's saying and finding out opportunities for volleyball to play in Mackey to get concessions and additional revenue. But my God, we're going to see a dip in football if something don't change. And it reminds me when we were all in school with hope. It really does at this point in regards to how long can you keep going till you have to make a change? Not that you want to. In the case of Danny, I don't think any of us looking back would say that was probably the right move.
Probably should have got another year.
Yeah.
But we did it because of fan dollars. I mean, there was the lack of fan support. And I think that gets turned up a couple clicks after last night. and winning with a roster that pretty similar to what ours looks like in regards to what recruits look like on paper. As we know, you can't win the off season. You can win the off season, I guess, all you want here, but it don't matter if you can't win in September and October and November. It's telling to me that the lack, I think, of decisions, especially when he went into Katie Gerald and how far the women's program has fallen, and saying like, oh, well, she didn't have the funds because we didn't have the NIL to do this, but now she does, and this is still what we see, the product on the court. I don't see in him also saying like he doesn't want to go into an area where he's firing another coach in 2 years. Not that we all think Barry's going to get fired in 2 years, but I think once you're done paying the Wallers buyout at the end of 27, if things still haven't changed and it gets up in another click that they go back to the college football playoffs, in Southern Indiana here for a third straight year, I think that's going to be telling. The roster will be much different down there, but now we've become third fiddle in a school that in a state that we were with a second fiddle not too long ago in football. Definitely the first fiddle in basketball. But are we just putting all our eggs in one basket in regards to basketball because the eyes aren't there like it is with football? And I know that you both talked about last week McAfee and the media covering the national title run a couple of years ago. It's not the same. It's not, because football dominates all headlines. And, NFL draft coverage was more important than, this run by Purdue.
I think too, not to cut you off there, but I think too, like the calendar lends itself more to football. You think about like, I remember like people saying, like I saw some Purdue fans saying, they go, hey, we don't remember seeing any like hype about this for basketball. It's like, when you just clinch a spot in the championship in basketball, you're playing 2 days later. Like there's a day in between to like bask in it. Whereas football, you've got, a week plus.
You do have the week before the Final Four though. And I still feel like it wasn't like the coverage of the Rose Bowl or the Peach Bowl. And maybe it's, I talked about this with one of our good friends on one of my other podcasts there. Maybe it's because Purdue's been good for the past decade, and everybody's like, okay, they finally broke through to where
finally did it. Yeah.
Indiana football has been the doormat of SBS. So it's just it was just that much more incredible of what they were doing. I don't know. I don't know.
I think the one thing that I have very, very high concern out of that interview, outside the Katie Gerald situation, is what he said about developing players and moving them forward. And they're reluctant to give multi-year deals until this year for NIL. What makes me reluctant is like, this screams like the poor franchises of baseball. And you see where that is. And the disparity now within the MLB that it's caused, this might be on a much, much greater scale, because the private equity isn't coming. He did say that deal's off the table. Right. I'm guessing Michigan,
which he was in favor of. He was in favor of that
because it was a 9-figure deal that Purdue. Yes,
he was in favor. He wanted that to happen.
He wanted that to happen. Michigan was probably the member that didn't want it to happen. They didn't feel like losing that brand was big. So Purdue's
Michigan
not going to get.
USC, I think, were the two that.
I think you're right about the USC. Yeah. It would have been 9 figures directly injected into the program.
Yep.
And he talked about in regards to there's still the fiscal responsibility of the athletic department. So we're not going to borrow more in regards to what we can't create. That's why I said it screams baseball. Yeah. And without a salary cap, without a structured fee from Congress at this point, this is going to be like the Dodgers. And I'm not going to lie, we're probably going to be the Chicago White Sox of, college sports, besides basketball and volleyball.
Well, one of my big takeaways that frustrated me was he said, we have big donors, but they haven't donated yet. Why would you even put that out there? Why would you even put that out there? Because that makes you look really bad, and it makes everybody question, like, why are they not donating to? What do we have to do to get them to donate? Type of thing. That was one of my big takeaways.
because I don't think they want to go into he wants to be more self-funded on these corporate dollars and corporate endorsements.
God.
And that's where it was going when I was listening to this, because I was just like, dog, this ain't it.
Saying work for me, dog.
No.
That's no for me. No for me, dog.
That's what just drives me nuts. Is just it's actually like, Tanner, you might even heard it at the Bucket game. There was a guy behind us, and he was talking about how I think we went to school around the same time, just by just kind of the way we just by our conversation. I didn't know the kid, but or the guy. We're in our 30s now. But he's saying something like Morgan Burke spoke to one of his classes, and like he was like promoting how like Purdue was a self-funded athletic department, and he's like, who cares? Like this is where we are. like it's, I mean, yeah, I guess kudos, like that is like impressive, because you hear about like I think it's like UCLA is like, I mean, just an absurd amount of debt, which so like obviously I don't want to be that, but also like if you're in the black but you're putting out a team that's won 7 games in 3 years, like, I mean, congrats on your accounting.
You're not cool. The school's not, or the sport's not cool for the school, you know?
Yeah. And like, this is what, like, this reminds me too of like back when, before they hired Babinski, I think it was even Daniels that said it, and thankfully Babinski came in and kind of changed Daniels's tune and the board as well. But it was like, just the whole thing of like, it just, and obviously it's a much bigger issue than as simple as I'm explaining, because obviously there's a lot more involved, but like what athletics does to a school, like in terms of enrollment, brand, is massive. When you look at like, I mean, go back to, over 10 years ago, Butler's enrollment or applications skyrocketed after their back-to-back Final Four runs. And there's been like, I know like Bama was like, I know my dad was talking about it over the weekend with some families, like what happened to Bama when Saban came in, like, and I think we saw it too with Purdue with basketball, like,
absolutely.
Like, there are a lot of smart kids who love sports and want to go to a school that doesn't suck ass.
Yeah, they want to have fun in their 4 years and have a good college sports experience.
Yeah, there's a lot. Obviously, like we're probably we're special, cases where like we were going to Purdue no matter what, like whether they were just coming off an 0-12 season or what, like, one of the only schools we I know, like for Tanner, you and I applied to. I don't know about you, Aaron.
Yep, one of 2 for me.
Yeah, I was one of 2 for mine too.
Never finished my third. I got 9 steps in. Purdue accepted me. I'm like, I don't want to write my essay.
And especially like I'm hearing like more and more of like, especially like Big Ten's like schools are being much more selective.
Yeah.
Because obviously like kids are wanting to come, again, like sports matters. So it's like if a kid has an option between, Purdue, Ohio State, Indiana, Wisconsin, like, and they're a huge football fan, I guarantee I know who's going to finish at the bottom of that list. And like they're going to a major that it's all like, comparable. Obviously schools matter, but like if it's like, the schools are pretty close and you have a chance to be like, oh, I want to go watch, cheer for a school that's going to compete for a national title, like you're picking Ohio State or Indiana right now. And it's just like, I mean, I go back to like the story of like how Neil Armstrong found Purdue is because he saw Purdue beat Ohio State in football and was like, oh, like, I think he wanted to go to MIT for engineering, and is like, he had a family that says you should look at, Purdue's got a good engineering degree, and he had just seen Purdue beat Ohio State. He's like, oh, they just beat the mighty Buckeyes, and lo and behold, he's the poster child.
Yeah, look what he's done for the academics.
It's like it just blows my mind sometimes.
There's a couple. I want to get to a couple points because I know we've hit on one. I'm just going to breeze back over it, but also it's not only the admissions go up, but then your alumni base where you're buying season ticket packages, you're going back, you're going to games. Those are going to be unfilled by people, and then you're then selling to the secondary market. Where then that's what Babinski talked about, was that secondary market. Like, oh well, we don't want to price ourselves out. Last I checked, we're not going to be able to expand Mackey, so you're capped in regards to what you can put there in regards to that value. The only way you're going to increase more revenue off basketball is you're going to have to get the girls' program out of the dumpster and start filling Mackey to get that revenue.
Or just straight up just charge more and hope people still buy tickets. Like, which if the product on the court is what it is, people are still going to buy tickets.
Yeah,
correct. You have that demand, you're going to have the sellout right there. But then you're asking at what point is the value. So 100%. Then it goes back to football. Season tickets raise. I don't know what it would raise to say you all say no, but there's got to be a number in mind where you're going to be like, nah, I really just watch this on TV.
Sure. There's a number, but like, I know friends who have Notre Dame season tickets and stuff. Purdue's a fraction of that, like even for good seats. So, I mean, they got a ways to go until they.
Let me add on to that one though. Notre Dame is on a network broadcast that is free to anyone, any fan, any person. They can just watch it over the air. It is free. Right. What we have to do to jump through hoops because of Kevin Warren's stupid freaking Big Ten media deal between Peacock, between Peacock, Big Ten Plus, CBS Sports. The guys have literally just made money, but the fan experience and the expense that like us outside of, especially if you cut the cord, and a younger generation is literally just giving the middle finger to that. And we're now paying what $200, I think. When shout out to Hammer and Rails did it, I think it was 200 or 280. I can't remember the actual figure this year. What it costs to watch Purdue basketball, and that's just to support Purdue basketball, not football, not women's basketball, not baseball either. So
it's that way for all sports. I mean, like if you want to watch your pro football team every week, you're gonna have to pay for Sunday ticket.
Not if you live in market. Not if you live in market.
Okay. Yes. Not if you live in market. I was trying to correct myself.
You do.
Yes, I do, and I pay for it because I like to watch the red zone. NFL is my favorite, so I don't care. But yeah, but I know where you're going with that, Aaron. You're right. You're not wrong at all.
So then, at what point with the rising cost, and I'm not going into the whole cost of living, but then what are we going to be for fans? Are you going to just go to a game and we're going to become what IU was in 2021, where you only have a few people showing up and it's just showing up for a tailgate because the product on the field is going to be not competitive and bad, especially since we won a Power 4 road game since 2022, right? No, 2023. Sorry,
2023. Yeah.
It is.
And I go back to like when we were students, like talking to people. I lived in the dorm. Like, I lived in the dorm freshman, sophomore year, which was the last 2 years of Hope. So like we weren't at the Hazel level yet. But I remember talking to people like in class during Hazel's first, second year. It's like, oh, you going to the game? I'm like, no, I'm tailgating. But like, why would I go to the game? It's like, why would I waste my time watching that? And then like, I know we've talked about it before, but like that kind of also just like that, that kind of follows you, unless you're just an absolute diehard, fan, like, to someone, do they, they move away? Do they try and come back for homecoming? Probably, maybe not, like depending on like who they, does their spouse also go here? Like that's one thing, but like if you marry someone from a different school, like, if you don't have any ties to the school outside of just like, you just went there, like, and you live in Nevada, like, are you really going to try and you didn't enjoy like your sporting experience? Are you going to really try and make it, or are you going to try and go when they're out west now? Like,
don't do that. That's going to be a loss. Football, at least football.
So it's just that's what sucks. It's like, that's why I'm so glad for like the students who are experiencing basketball now, because it's just like that can create fans for life.
It can, but is that the only thing they're going to hang their hat on? Because we're in a Big Ten institution. We saw something last night we never thought in our lives, all three of us, would never, ever, ever happen. We thought our football program would be the one to be in a playoff game, given what we saw growing up. But the momentum never was seized and capitalized in regards to leadership. Leadership has failed in regards to whatever he can say. And Babinski, do I want your job? No. Do I going to play armchair quarterback? Absolutely. Right now. So it is frustrating to see, because I don't care about Cignetti wasn't on your radar. You didn't have a succession plan for Braun. Flat out.
Even though they said they did, but actions speak a whole hell of a lot louder than words. Like,
if you had a succession plan, you wouldn't have fired him after 2 years.
I wish I knew who else was interviewed. We'll never find that out. I don't think. I wish I knew who else was interviewed or looked at.
Troy Callahan, we know it.
I don't know about that. He might have been looked at. I don't know if he got interviewed. I don't know. He might have. I don't know.
Just the fact that like it just felt like, I remember like the offseason before that, Brahms last year, like there was a whole, like he was down in Louisville or something, and there was that whole like interview snippet where he like, they asked him like, you coming back, essentially in so many words, like you ever coming back, and he was just like, It said like, yeah, probably at some point.
Yeah,
Like, and it was
exactly.
just like,
It was
it's just embarrassing. And like, it just felt like once it happened, like, it just felt like he just got caught flat footed. And like, it was like, oh, I didn't think it was gonna be happening this year. Maybe like, next year we just,
I think they thought it was gonna be the next year, because if you guys remember, like, Satterfield wasn't gonna get fired by Louisville.
no, he had kind of saved his job.
He
had
left
saved his job
because the fans hated him, and Cincinnati opened up with Fickle leaving.
Yeah.
So it was a domino effect.
Yeah, and I get it's obviously like, especially now, it's very easy to say hindsight 2020. Like, why didn't we look at Signetti? Like, and someone pointed out, like, coming after 2022, like he had just came off like an 8-5 year at JMU, and I can see how that's maybe not like, you can see why that's not like screams P4 successful head coach. It's like, it's like just because his age and next year is when he had a really, really good year. Obviously he had success before, but it was like, I could have seen, I totally understand why they went the route they did. Young up and coming coordinator, just had one of the best defenses in the country. Like, it all made sense. It made sense in the time.
Yep.
It was just the execution was horrendous.
Yep.
Can I add to that point when he talked about that in the round table was, well, I saw what I didn't see any hope for this. I'm like, you didn't provide him any support. You didn't provide any counsel and guidance in regards to who he should hire in his staff. And he went out and hired his peers. And his
buddies, yeah.
You literally let that happen. And he is going to be successful again. It's bound to happen. And you did not provide as leadership guardrails and curtails to help him become that, and say, like, sure, you can hire some of your, but they have to be lower level. You need guys that have called plays before, that have been in these situations, that when it comes to crunch time, they have the experience and repetition to understand that. Just like how Wink Martindale, I keep going back to this. The only reason Michigan beat USC, was it last year? I think it was last year or this year. No, last year. Wink Martindale literally bailed out Sherrone Moore. And that was the only reason they won. Walters had none of that. And now you bring back the worst coordinator, and you flat out say, well, that was Barry's decision.
He interviewed 7 people. According to Mike, he interviewed 7 people.
And one of those interviews could have been us. All I care.
Are you admitting something, Lynch? I mean, is this breaking news here? I mean,
my defense on the video game is pretty damn good. I will say that. So I run a pretty good defense. I run a pretty good 4-2-5.
No, I'm not. But he doesn't need to reveal that. But to go back and make the decision that you did, and like, well, I know him, like, and say it's all on Barry. You need to take some ownership in regards to yourself in the decisions you and Grimes made, because you have a fan base that the clicks are going to get turned up on, especially if Odom goes 4-8 this year, and it's not fair to him, unfortunately.
Correct.
But part of it is his fault because of some of the decisions he made. It's unfortunate that we're in this circumstance, and not even national title run is going to help. Like, I think from our basketball team to even say, like, does it alleviate? Because it's hell they have 5. Sorry, they have 5, and now having something that I've never seen ever.
I'd
thought
be pretty happy.
Yeah, I think majority of the fan base still be pretty happy. I don't care if they have 5 or not. That those things are dusty, and their program looks like trash right now.
It does against Michigan, absolutely.
But I think one thing people don't talk about enough, I know B Down did of Boiled Sports. So I gotta give him a shout out. Mike Berghoff leaving the board was a big blow because he was really instrumental in the whole Brom era. Era, getting things going, making Purdue pay a little more than they normally would, things like that. And I don't know what happened behind the scenes, why he stepped down, but it seems like after he did, things haven't quite been the same.
Well, then you had was it Tim House goes to Michigan State, and all of a sudden they announced this like $4 billion initiative. Like it's that's where it really comes in, is like, the AD can do so much, and like that goes back to like I said, when back when we were in school and Daniels was like, "Oh, we don't want to get into an arms race with Ohio State's." It's like, then what the hell are we doing? Like,
Yeah.
especially nowadays, like, because there is now I remember a couple years ago, I was thinking about this earlier. It's like a couple years ago, I was thinking like when, the Big Ten was expanding and there was this talk of like, hey, they're probably going to eventually just do a super league of, the top 40 teams. And I was like, I think Purdue has a shot to make it because we just made the Big Ten title game and all that's like, there's no chance in hell we're making it now. Like,
Bottom 40.
yeah. And it's just like, if that's the case, man, it's game over.
I do like what Barry's done in this offseason, even though you can't win the offseason, or it doesn't matter if you do, you got to. But, this isn't going to be an overnight fix. And like we said, it's going to have to be in chunks and blocks and steps. And hopefully they take the right step this season. So.
What happened down south was the biggest outlier in college football history.
Yeah, nobody's going to replicate that model. People are going to try, and we might see programs do it eventually, but it's going to take steps. Nobody's going to do it within 2 years. Like it was, and I mean, credit to them for pulling it off.
Yeah.
They beat good teams this year down the stretch. Great coaching job, Heisman quarterback, all that stuff. But Purdue can't worry about. They got to worry about what's within their doors, worry about themselves. If they start worrying about other programs, forget about it.
And that's like what I said. People are like, this should light a fire under. It's like, I get that. But again, if Babinski and company are worried about what's going on outside of, West Lafayette, like they're cooked. Like they're cooked.
I'm sure they're pissed like we are. It's not fun to see.
Yeah.
It's not fun to hear about. It's not fun to be in your own state. The team you're recruiting against, the team you have to play every year. It's an uphill battle to beat them now.
Your two rivals have made back-to-back national championships.
Exactly.
And one of them actually won.
And that high school coaches are going to tell their kids to go to as well.
Yeah. But
I was texting my dad last night. I was like, there's a chance Purdue doesn't sniff a good high school recruit from the state, like moving forward. Like, I mean, like obviously you'll get a few, but it's just like, I mean, it's like we saw with Painter, like kind of in that,
unless Indiana broadens their recruiting like Notre Dame has.
Possible, yeah.
National.
But then they're going to start selecting in regards to like getting the top talent in regards to, and it's going to come down to like I stated earlier, we're at third fiddle now for football.
Yeah.
Here.
Yep.
I'm just concerned that what we see in MLB is going to play out in college sports, and especially might play out before our very eyes, especially now that teams are getting multi-year deals and we finally just gave our first, it sounds like, this offseason. And, granted take, I'm happy for these kids, and they have representation and that they're getting paid what they're getting paid. But the problem is they're making that kind of money and they're not performing. I mean, there's going to be an irate fan base. And the one thing I think that sits with me is still Carson Beck's comments on Saturday in regards to I haven't went to class. I went to school for 2 years.
That was taken out of context. He said he graduated. He had been going to school, and I know there was because I saw someone, I think it was from Miami, says like they like guys who are like either leaving or going to the draft or whatever, like who were like in their last year, like they don't need to sign up for classes this semester because, I mean, after yesterday, he's prepping for the NFL now. After a 12-year college career. But yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, like that's what
it was only 6.
It feels like 12. And that's just kind of interesting. Again, from a broader scope, that's what kind of sucks about just like college sports now. Because I remember like when we were in school, you'd walk around campus and see, oh, that's so and so, that's so and so. Like you had classes with these guys, and it just kind of felt like, I think that's what made you connect with the team so much. Or watching these games now, like after it's like, oh, these guys are doing the same thing we were doing in school, like going to the same lecture halls, all that kind of stuff. And now it's like these guys are just going on. I remember like in the national championship for basketball last year, they asked Walter Clayton. He's like, all my classes are online. I didn't even go to campus outside of the basketball facility. So it's like they're obviously good for them. Like it makes it easier, especially like when you got these long road trips now where they're gone 4 or 5 days. Like it makes it easier for class, but it does take away some of the purity of college sports.
Yep. They're 1099 individual contractors at this point, in my opinion. And I know, shout out to Golden Black, and we can shift to that. They talked about the portal window closing. Monday was the big day for them to register for classes, and Tom was talking about that. I'm like, does it really matter, Tom, that these guys I mean, does it really matter that they're in
Right.
class? And I still think this portal is and coaching cycle still messed up. I think the portal window needs to be at the end of the actual academic calendar and in the
I
summer.
agree.
And
Or
if
like in April, like so it's like when they leave, like classes are about done, like then you can enroll in your new school.
What do you do about spring ball then, though?
if you don't want to participate, you don't participate. You can go
Okay.
train on your own. You're already making money. You already have agents, so you're already, clicked in with some of these areas. So if you want to leave campus at the end of first semester and take a semester off and go train, you can do that and put your name in the portal and re-enroll in the fall wherever you're going. And if you're coach, that then allows your coaching cycle to stop, and we don't have a Lane Kiffin situation in Ole Miss anymore. So there's a lot of positives to that. Even guys that feel like they can get the look, hey, am I going to be able to compete for a spot? I can go through spring ball, and then if not, enter the portal and go somewhere else in the summer and re-enroll. I think that alleviates a lot of issues, and you have a portal window for all sports pretty much in the summer, besides baseball and softball, because it takes so long. But Tom's little thing about the kids are enrolling on Monday, I just like, really, that's maybe here, but not anywhere else what we've seen.
Well, that was good half an hour discussion there on the round table. So
we can finish it up with football real quick. 28 players signed for a transfer portal window.
Looks good on paper. We'll see. I mean, we kind of covered it last week. They made another addition with a couple edge rushers, but we'll see.
Can still pick up guys in the summer.
Yep.
Yeah. So just because the portal window closes doesn't mean you can't pick up guys if they're in. They just have to be in the portal by then. So I'm sure we'll see some guys kind of trickle in here and there.
Yep.
Obviously, the two teams who play the championship, they have a new window since they were playing. So,
and we saw Lil Mendoza. I was notified, jumped in the portal. So
good for him.
Yeah, which wasn't a surprise after the TCU kid going there.
Yeah,
so.
He served his purpose. Got his brother there.
Yep. So one thing I wanted to do this week, we haven't done it a couple weeks. I got a trivia question and blind ranking for you guys. All related to tonight's basketball game against UCLA. You might have seen the trivia question, but I'm going to throw it out there anyways. What is Purdue's record all time in Pauley Pavilion?
Ooh, I did not see this.
No, I have no clue.
Can we ask how many games have been played, or is that too much of a?
Sure, 4.
4. Okay. My guess was 6. Pauley Pavilion.
0-4.
I'm gonna go 1-3.
1-3. Aaron is right. 0-4.
Cool.
0-4. In my blind rankings, when you think of UCLA, who's the first player that comes to your mind?
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Who'd you say, Aaron?
Lou Alcindor.
Okay, yeah, same guy. I thought maybe one of you would say Bill Walton, but it was all going to be the same thing. You think of big guys, right? Centers.
Yeah.
I got 5 centers here in Purdue history during our lifetime, during our fandom. Want you to rank them 1 through 5 on. You can rank them on who you think has the best career or what center you would want right now on the team. I don't care how you do it. So.
I hope Patrick Beatty's on this list.
He is not. starting with Matt Harms.
Oh man. A guy whose reputation definitely took a hit once he transferred. Granted, he did graduate, didn't he?
He did graduate, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he has.
He wanted to shoot more threes. That's what he wanted to do, and it didn't work out for him. And think if he stayed, Edie's progression.
Yeah,
who knows?
It's that whole Brian, you were kind of over the summer, like just the butterfly effect of like, incoming was this big kid that we thought was going to redshirt. We'll see how he does, and he has to be thrown into the fire. He turned out to be all right. I'm gonna be safe. I'm gonna put him at 3. I liked Harms. Obviously, like he was raw when he came in. He was different. It was a change up from what we had with Isaac Haas and even AJ Hammonds before that, of like just the bigger guys. He was much more mobile and was huge on the block shots, and I Yeah, so obviously he was with that Elite Eight run. Put him at 3 just to cop out.
I'm going to put him at 5 because the last memory is the 2020 season with no Joel Eastern and that band of guys. That was bad.
Yeah, that was not going to be a tourney team unless they got hot in the Big Ten tournament. So, all right, next up, Juwan Johnson.
Numero uno.
Had a feeling you were going there.
We had not seen anything like this in a long time. I mean,
I'm
am I
regretting
not
putting Harms
wrong?
at 3. I'm really regretting putting Harms at 3.
Given where the state of the program was and how
No, he was the first Big Ten player Purdue had since Big Dog. No,
Yeah,
we hadn't seen. Yeah, he was.
Oh man! I also was playing this game of who else you have on this list. Do you have the obvious ones? Do you have the not obvious ones?
I have a feeling like Travis Carroll is going to be on this list.
That's what I'm saving 5 for. I'll put him at 2 just as just in case. But he was incredible. We hadn't had a player like that in forever, or really in a long time ever. Really, in terms of just like athletic.
I still wish we had Painter still recruited this profile. I know he was supposed to be. He played center, but we don't have a center that stepped out and shot Jays like him, and we haven't seen that since him. I mean, Hammonds did a little bit, but he wasn't as fluid as Juwan, and he could beat guys even off the dribble, have the ball outside the key. I mean,
his first round NBA pick. I mean,
it was before that trend happened too. He was kind of from what I remember, there weren't a lot of big guys doing that, especially in the Big Ten.
His development year after year was incredible. I mean, he was a backup to Nimajah Chalice in his freshman year.
Yeah,
averaged 5 points per game. But you could tell the potential was there. And like Aaron alluded to, his jump shot got better and better every year. To his senior year, I felt great about him shooting threes. Yeah. Junior year, I was still a little, Senior, I'm like, go for it. Besides Etwan, you're the second guy I want shooting threes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I wanted DJ Bird shooting threes over him. Sorry.
As a freshman?
Yeah, I still did. I mean, he was brought in to be.
Yeah. Oscar Clough.
Man, I screwed up so badly. I've done this. I was rusty.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to put him 3. I think it's still be determined. I think what I talked to Tanner about this. I think he's been great, but I think that for Trey, it's been a hard adjustment going back to being a 4 and being offensive and being outside the key and having those ugly push shots that you and I were texting back. He hasn't done anything in the last 5 games when we were talking about the SC game. I think he's great, and he's definitely exactly what this team needs. It sucks that we can't get another year of him.
Yeah. Just because the year isn't over yet and we haven't seen a full year, I'm gonna put him at 5 just because of not a finished product yet. He's been exactly what this team needed. He had some grown ass man rebounds against USC, against some of these other games. He's been a breath of fresh air.
So Evan still has 1 and
4,
and Aaron has
2 and 4.
2 and 4. AJ Hammonds.
I knew he was going to be on here.
Most skilled player Matt Painter said he's ever coached.
Yeah,
which is wild.
He's like you don't want to play him in a game of horse. Something like that. Just because I can't put him above, you're gonna pull somebody out for this last one. I'm gonna regret it, but I'll put him at 4 just because I can't put him above JJ.
Okay,
I'm gonna put him 2 because there was raw, untapped potential, and that still I felt it never been reached with him. I remember the IU game when he was a freshman.
Put up 30.
Put up
like 30.
Put one up for 30, and actually that fast break dunk, that transition dunk that he had, and just
cut the lead to 37.
It didn't matter. He was being a prized possession in that game. I wish he would have done more. He had all the tools to do it. I just don't know if Painter or Brandon could even push the buttons more than what they did with him.
Yeah, he obviously had the unfortunate experience of for his first 2 years were just awful, awful basketball. You wonder, like, in today's age, would he have transferred at that point? Like, I asked about that about a lot of guys that we watched. But he was obviously, like, I remember like a game against Michigan State his senior year. He was awesome. But obviously, part of his legacy is never winning a tournament game. Went 0 for 2.
And lastly, Zach. Nope.
I knew it.
Isaac. Nope. Carl. Nope. Sorry.
Sandy. It's Sandy.
Sandy Marchus.
4. Yes.
Number 1, baby. Number 1.
Choo Marchus for Webby. Hey, he had that 5-game stretch where it looked like an All-American.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then he went to DePaul.
Re-rank. He's 5. Clough's 4. I would keep Matt at 3. AJ 2, JJ 1.
Want to change a thing about mine. 2020 still lives with a bad taste in my mouth. Run a 4-on-5 offense. That team was bad.
Oh, you got to put Matt Harms in front of Marchus just for the tipping at Indiana.
No, because I like Choo.
Or a final score of 49-48.
Yeah, Carson went 5 for 860.
I think he was 5 for 20 that game.
People forget he was cold.
His February was awful. That
even
year.
Late January wasn't good, and then March was the heater of all heaters. So.
Yeah,
well,
even
Big Ten
tournament, we sucked, and it was just
that Minnesota game. I remember I threw something across my living room that game. I think it was a dog.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that was we were not feeling good going into that tournament.
No. So, yep, I thought it's been a little while since we've done those. So I'll pull one out. But Boilers took care of business last week. 2 tight games, 79-72 win over Iowa at home on Wednesday, followed up with a nail biter at USC in which they won 69-64. Webby, I know you were in the house in Mackey against Iowa, but I know there were some nerves. I know, Aaron, you text when we were down 9. This is getting about the danger territory, and I wasn't panicking yet because I'm like, there's a lot of game, and I would have in years past, but I'm like, Trey, Fletcher, and Braden.
Yeah, that was. I was feeling the nerves a little bit, but at the end, I still had a sense of calmness just being in the arena. I was just like, they got this. I obviously games like Ohio State last year is one thing, but it just felt like we've just seen these guys do so much before where it's like if Iowa was going to win, they were going to have to take it. They were going to have to hit some stupid stuff. Which
they were hitting some stupid
stuff.
And
they were. Yeah.
I was going to say, Combs had a career night.
Jeez.
Yeah. And they had 2 guys that had combined for 11 threes all year, and they hit 7.
Yeah. It's always a lefty against us.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. But I mean, Mackey was awesome that night. Good to have the paint crew back for the first game. It was going to be a tough out. I feel like I think they got the
That's gonna be a tough road trip on February 14th.
Tough road trip, especially after this game. That game, they're going to want payback. But yeah, it was just Braden. I mean, what more can you say? Braden Smith did what Braden Smith does. He just took over that game. I mean, we missed 1 shot in the last 10 minutes of that game, which is just ridiculous. Absurd. And just closed it out. It was great. It was obviously, as Painter said, they outplayed us for 30 minutes. So it's just nice to be able to, you don't want to make a habit of it, but it's nice to be able to have a team that can not play their best. And we saw it against USC as well, and still find a way to get the win.
In the USC game, I'm going to sit back and hear you guys talk about it. I watched a whopping 3 minutes of it because my pro football team was in a pretty big important dogfight that day. So.
Yeah. That one, it was from the jump. I mean, it wasn't great. USC
looked
came
like
out.
a Cracker Jack arena Cracker Jack Box Arena.
Purdue had the crowd advantage for that, as they kind of did last year with their West Coast trip, and I expect it kind of to be the same thing tonight. USC came out, kind of punched them in the mouth. They were getting turnovers. Purdue couldn't hit anything, and then Purdue went on their own little run, took the lead.
Yeah, I was score checking on my phone, and at one time, I'm like, down 22-8.
Yeah,
solid. But
yeah,
then it was like the next time I looked, Purdue was right there back in it. So
yeah, they kind of did what they did. Obviously the big storyline was Braden had someone ran into him, wasn't a foul because it was Carsonson. Go figure. Kind of collided
tonight, but he probably is, isn't he?
Probably collided knees with him, and you definitely tell Braden was affected by it by the rest of the game. But it was just a gritty win. Kind of back and forth in the second half, and finally, Purdue was able to make the shots that they did, got the stops when they needed it. Had some good fortune of being up 3 and down the stretch, and USC missing 2 free throws on a foul shot. So it's one of those things where you just take it where you can get it and you move on.
Yep, it was stack wins.
In my opinion, best win of the season. And given the fact that Fletcher got in the foul trouble, Clough got in the foul trouble.
Yeah, Fletcher was in foul trouble like 90 seconds in. That was cool, boy. That set me off. Clough had some very ticky-tack stuff happen to him. I was shocked they didn't call a 5th on him late in the game because he was setting some good screens, legal screens, but some just looked a little awkward sometimes. But yeah, it was go ahead.
I was going to say, the reason, too, you put Jacobson in there a lot of minutes. They had to switch Small to go TKR the 5. But the main issue was the athleticism of USC was actually making Braden pick up his dribble as soon as he got a half court double teaming. It took until the second half when Benter got in to actually start rotating, finding guys and finding passes because they were shutting down the lane. He was picking his dribble up. The guy was able to get back and get on his man right out of that double team. And it definitely affected the flow of the offense. And you could definitely tell. I'll say that game was the Jack Benter game for 100%.
Oh, 100%. He had like 4 or 5 possessions in a row where
jumping Jack Flash.
Yeah, he hit a 3. He took a charge. He's
good,
got
man.
A steal. He had this. It was like he had 4 plays in a row where it was just like it was a total game changer.
He was the turning point of the game.
I saw Newbert was gushing about Jakari's defensive performance.
Jakari played well. Him and CJ hit timely shots. CJ did not have a good shooting game.
Nope.
But it was just, again, kind of like timely shots by certain guys. Braden got a clutch steal at the end, got the layup, and smacked.
I did see that. I saw a highlight of that.
Yeah.
Don't know how that's not a foul, especially to
Musselman
off American that always get calls.
Yeah, because the whole thing that happened with that was
Musselman's a baby.
That put us up 3. And you can watch the video and you can see Painter was trying to call timeout when that happened. And the ball got inbounded and Braden's laying there on the ground and they awarded Purdue the timeout and Musselman goes off because obviously they had numbers.
Right.
They had the advantage. And he even said something about it in the press conference. And I was like, let's start with the fact, why was Braden on the ground? Let's start with that. It's because your guy just straight up smacked him in the face and nothing got called, which baffles me because it wasn't like it was like a crowded lane. It was literally 1-on-1 fast break.
Yep. And that's why I think that was the most impressive game because you had to overcome a lot of adversity in that game. You had to come back, battle down. When you had home fan, I felt like there's more Purdue fans in that crowd than USC fans.
Yeah.
So USC definitely want to take it to him in regards to Musselman drew up things and it definitely helped. But to overcome that environment, traveling out west on this 2-game West Coast road trip, 100% better than Bama win because this is the game you're going to look back at in turning time and say, we had the grit and determination, Braden injured, foul trouble with the other guys. TKR not outside of being open, that one pass that Benter threw straight to him, didn't have a great game either. So
Mitch Melton here on Facebook said the USC game was good, but I was more impressed with the Iowa game. That's a game we lose in past years. Iowa's first half percentages were lights out. Good to get that win, considering that would have been a loss historically.
Been a lot historically.
Both of those games are, if you win the Big Ten, those are what you point to. Like
Yep.
those were huge, especially the USC game against one of those things where, Purdue was favored a good amount, and it's the travel's one thing, and that's a game you should have won, and thankfully they were able to do that because that'll trip up a couple teams this year.
Yep. And then this week's slate, of course, tonight, like I said, Pauley Pavilion at UCLA, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Boilers are 5.5-point favorites. Then return home Saturday to play Illinois, who's ranked 11th, at 3 o'clock on Fox. But Illinois had a big injury come out, big injury. Their guard Boswell, senior, broke his hand, hurt his hand.
I think it was a fracture in his hand, yeah.
Out at least a month. It's like, what do they do during practice? Because they have more practice injuries than any big team I can recall. So that's a big loss for him, because he's known to shut people's water off, as our Illinois friend likes to say. So
he shut Sturts down when they played not too long ago.
Yeah. So, but how are we feeling about tonight's game? Score prediction, MVP, bold prediction.
Obviously, the big question is, Braden's list is questionable. It sounded like he practiced, so you assume he's going to play. You wonder, where he's at. USC or UCLA is a team that is talented. They came into the year, it was like one of the probably 4 teams that were people talked about in terms of like winning the Big Ten potentially. And they just have been very underwhelming. They had the big signing Donovan Dent over the offseason. He just hasn't really produced to what he's probably getting paid for. I think Purdue pulls it out, especially after Saturday. I'm going to go 76-64. MVP. Just because he had a bag, I'm going to go Fletcher, because I think he never got into a rhythm. Last game because of the foul trouble and just kind of getting pulled out and getting more fouls. I'm going to say he hits 5 threes today.
I like it.
Right.
I like it. I think Purdue gets a win, hard-fought road win tonight, 77-70. Going with Trey Kaufman-Wren. It's my player of the game, and I think Trey goes for 15 and 15 tonight.
Nice.
Good. I watched them UCLA play against Ohio State instead of watching Indiana, Iowa this weekend. UCLA without Sky Clark is not the same team anymore. I mean, you take 11 points out, and he was the highest three-point percentage shooter they had. They rely on Bilodeau, who's their stretch 4, which I think is going to be a lot. I think pulling TKR outside the paint tonight on defense is going to be interesting to see if he can move his feet against a perimeter player that has good footwork and spot up and shoot. Bilodeau had 30 against Ohio State, but that UCLA team did not look good at all. They tried to make it a game, Cronin and company against Ohio State, but it wasn't close. I think Purdue wins easily tonight, 86-60. I think they get the first one in Pauley Pavilion. I think Fletcher is player of the game. I think he scores more than 20, then increases our thing to, I think it's, would it be 15 games or 16 games when he scores more than 20 that we win? And I think
I don't.
I think the stat of the night, I think Jacobson has 5 blocks.
Okay. I like it.
Sign me up for all that.
This was a game last year that Purdue desperately needed because they were on that little bit of a skid, and UCLA came to town, and Purdue was able to. At first, it was one of those things where, where the first halves were not good, and they were able to pull it out in the second half. I remember I was at that game thanks to Tanner.
A lot of big ones coming up. Return home trip to Illinois. Go down to Bloomington next Tuesday. That place gonna be rocking because we're their Super Bowl anymore. When we come into town, they'll be first home game. after returning with the national championship for football, so they'll bring that out. We just happened to be that game, but that's fine. We've seen Bob Knight return there, kick their ass. That doesn't worry me. That's
with a not great team. That was a team that wasn't going to make the tournament either.
Exactly. That was
last game to that game was Evan Boudreau dunking with an empty upper arena.
Yep. So, Purdue's going to get everybody's best shot. We've talked about that. I mean, they're preseason ranked number 1. They've only lost 1 game to date. So bring it on. It's where we get in the fun part of the schedule. Really, this is where, football's starting to wrap up. College football's wrapped up. NFL's about to wrap up. College basketball kind of becomes the focus now. So, fun time of year.
I will give this token to both of you on your score prediction. Purdue hasn't played a game where the deciding factor is 6 points or less this season.
Wow.
Well, Saturday was 69-64. USC was.
Oh, it was. Never mind. Sorry.
That's the only one, though. That's the only one, though.
Yeah, that's the only one. Yeah.
Nope, you're 100% right. Sorry. My memory's shot.
Mr. Melton got a question for us. Which game's tough for us? Nebraska away or Michigan at home?
Nebraska. That place is already electric.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely probably one of the underrated venues of the Big Ten because there's nothing else to do in Nebraska. So people, and they credit to the fans, they show up no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's a potential just buzzsaw game where if they're hitting, they could roll.
They've rolled us
there
before.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So I just because it's on the road, and just their team is pretty awesome this year.
And that's before the Iowa game at Iowa. That's a tough week. And Nebraska at Iowa in the same week.
Imagine saying that in
No,
October. Like your stretch of at Nebraska at Iowa might be your toughest stretch.
Yeah.
I'd be ecstatic if we come out 1-1 that week.
I'd take 1-1 right now.
Yeah.
We're not going to roll through the Big Ten undefeated. I don't.
No.
It's too hard to do.
No, but we're winning tonight. Guaranteed.
No, I feel good. I feel good about tonight. I still hate these late tips, but that's why I'm drinking some caffeine right now to keep me up. So I'm an old man. But why don't we pay some bills real quick? And Aaron, if you wouldn't mind, I don't have the read brought up for Mad Mushroom.
Sure. Boiler Breakdown is brought to you by Mad Mushroom, serving Boilermakers since '93. Mad Mushroom is located in the heart of West Lafayette. It's known for the home of the original cheese stick. But whenever any of us, the Boiler Breakdown crew, are in town, we want to sit down, have an ice cold beer, and try out the latest pizza of the month, which is Sweet Heat Barbecue Meats. A light layer of barbecue sauce topped with pepperoni, sausage, ham, bacon, ground beef, banana peppers, and mozzarella cheese, finished with a barbecue drizzle. So next time you're in town, use the promo code, or online and use the promo code BREAK526 for $5 off any order over $20. Good for anything there. Cheese sticks, fill up on those. Carb overload, can't go wrong.
I might have had that for my dinner time or two in college. Extra large cheese stick with a couple dipping sauces.
I think we all have. So next time you're in town, use that promo code, order online. Tell them Boiler Breakdown sent you. Mad Mushroom, feed your head.
Yep, and once again, that's new promo code BREAK526. So just want to reiterate that. So, and Webby's got a great looking script shirt on. I got a feeling he got it from the shop.
I did. It's not the new ones they just came out with, but it's the
still good looking though.
Still model, and I'll have to re-up and get the new one. But yeah, glad to have the shop on for this year, another year. Starting out, and they start out in garages. Now they've got 3 locations around Indy, one in Carmel, one in Broad Ripple, one in downtown Indy. So if you ever find yourself in the 317s, stop on by. They've got great people. Maybe don't go like this weekend because they're going to be stocking up on a certain team's national championship shirt that you don't need to. You don't.
I think they have like 15 items out.
Yeah, they do, as they should.
Yeah.
But they just came out with a new script. Kind of drop. You have the Purdue basketball script. Black hoodie looks awesome. They've got the shirt like I've got, but with the Purdue colored in with solid gold. Looks great. I still need to get that Boiler script hoodie. If you're watching, Tanner's got their website pulled up. We have the Purdue basketball script alternate. Looks amazing. Something I need to get. But if you are going to shop online,
I like that one a lot. That one's cool.
Yeah, the Purdue Hail Purdue Pete hoodie. Yep. But if you're going to shop online, maybe you're going to buy your significant other a certain school's shirt, like I probably will. I should do that. Make sure you use the code breakdown for free shipping. That's if you go to the shopindy.com, promo code breakdown for free shipping.
Yeah, good for any Valentine's Day order.
Yeah.
Yep.
Plenty of good t-shirts, hats, youth t-shirts, drinkware. Yep. Oh, we got second page here.
We have a second page.
Oh, more drinkware, some koozies, some flags, some stickers. Ooh, I like that sticker. Yep. You got about everything you want. So take advantage. Absolutely. All right, fellas. Any final thoughts? We wrap this edition of the Boiler Breakdown up.
Let's get 2 this week.
Yep, that's the only thing that matters. Saturday's gonna be a big game. Who's calling that game on Saturday?
No idea. I know Robbie and Fanta are calling the Purdue IU game. I heard them talking about that during the Michigan IU game tonight.
Was it announced that Robbie was going to do CBS pregame? Did I miss that?
Yep, apparently.
He's doing everything. Good for him.
Somewhat Purdue adjacent. Kent State is up 4 on newly ranked Miami, Ohio. Up 4 with 3:20 to go.
Wow. Hold on, Golden Flashes.
They'll pull it out. That game on Saturday. That they pulled out. They're the only one of 3 undefeated teams, correct? It's Nebraska, Arizona, and them.
Yep.
All righty, boys. Well, let's boiler up, hammer down, beat the Bruins, and beat the Fighting Illini.
Boiler up.